All right, let's just be honest for a second. It's probably not a question you ask yourself every day. Are you full of poop? But that is a wild, provocative starting point of the material we're breaking down today. In this explainer, we're going to unpack that startling idea and just see where it takes us. Let's get into it. Right off the bat, the source material we're covering does not pull any punches. It opens with this, truly startling claim from its author. It's definitely designed to grab your attention and set the stage for everything that follows. And this is really the heart of the whole argument. The idea here is that the average person could be walking around carrying this much extra undigested waste. That is a heavy thought, literally. So, if we're supposedly carrying all this extra weight, where is it coming from? Well, that brings us to the first big idea from the source, what it calls the poop belly problem. Now, this isn't just about feeling a little bloated after a big dinner. The central idea here is that a lot of people just aren't fully eliminating waste. And according to this viewpoint, that built-up stuff doesn't just sit there, it actually becomes a potential breeding ground for disease. Okay, so if incomplete elimination is the problem, what's the fix? Well, the source material lays out a very specific standard for what proper elimination is supposed to look like, and it calls it nature's definition. The whole argument really boils down to a super simple principle. What goes in must come out. This viewpoint suggests there's a natural rhythm to how our bodies are designed to process food and get rid of waste. And here is that principle in action. The source calls it the one in, one out rule. The idea is simple. For every single meal you eat, you should have one bowel movement to go with it. So think about it. If you eat 3 meals a day, this perspective argues you should be going 3 times a day. For a lot of us, that might sound like a lot. Okay, let's dive into this next crucial point. This is where the source makes a really key distinction between two very, very popular health terms that you hear all the time. You know how people kind of use these words interchangeably? A juice cleanse, a detox? Well, this author argues it's a huge misunderstanding of what the body actually needs. And this analogy really brings the point home. A cleanse, like doing a juice fast, is compared to just sweeping a dirty house. You see it there on the left. You're just kind of moving the surface level dust around. But a true detox, on the right, is defined as actually removing the source of the problem. Getting rid of the mold and the pests that were making the house dirty to begin with. So what happens when that one in, one out rule isn't being followed? Well, according to this viewpoint, the body starts sending out some pretty clear warning signs. The source claims that when the body isn't getting rid of waste the right way, that buildup starts to show up in some, unpleasant ways. It suggests that stuff like persistent body odor or bad breath aren't just surface issues, but they could be signs of this internal buildup. And even more, this viewpoint says that this internal environment becomes the perfect place for things like parasites and yeast to thrive. But the argument doesn't just stop with the physical body. This is where it gets really interesting. The source takes a much bigger, more holistic approach, connecting what's happening in our gut to what's happening in our minds. And this slide just lays that connection out there plain and simple. The source poses this really direct question, suggesting there's this deep link between our emotional state and our physical state. The whole idea is that the act of letting go isn't just a physical thing, it's a total mind and body process. So the crucial point here is that waste removal isn't just one step among many. It's the foundation. The source argues that no matter what health challenge someone is facing, whether it's hypertension or an autoimmune condition, dealing with elimination has to be priority number 1. And so we're left with this final, really powerful idea from the source material. It kind of reframes the entire conversation away from just going to the bathroom and towards something much more fundamental. The central takeaway is this. To heal the body, you have to first be willing to let go of physical, mental, and emotional waste. It's a provocative thought, and it leaves us with one final question to consider. What are you holding on to?